Hey there, everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Sean with Retro RC Garage coming back at you with episode number 2. Finishing up the final build and construction of Project Tamiya Monsterfoot. Blackfoot, Monster Beetle, we don't know. We're just calling it Monsterfoot. It is what it is. Got a lot done in the first episode. Pretty long episode. Like I said, we're going to do things a little bit differently in this episode and things probably going forward. Trying to document these builds as they come across my desk. I just enjoy tearing them down and rebuilding them, so I figure might as well document the whole thing in the process. So stick with me. We're going to get through the credits, and I'm going to show you what we're working on. All right, so pretty much where we left off. We had taken the whole chassis down, cleaned everything, put it back together. The episode that you all saw, we had to rebuild the gear case, get the suspension back on there, rebuilt the shocks, and got the shocks mounted back on there. We did the front shocks as well. I did some changing of the front springs, got everything set back. As far as I know, this is a good usable chassis. Like I said, it's not perfect. I'm trying to minimize the amount of new parts putting on this. I'm just trying to rebuild it with basically how I got it. So a couple things that we need to do to finish this build up, and a couple things we're going to go over today is, we got the body, get that situated. We have the radio we still have to get situated. Let's go ahead and take this over to the bench. We'll set this one right here. So we've got body mounts. I did have to get some new body mounts here. The old tabs were broke off of the old one, so there was no way to mount the body. So I had to break down and buy those new body mounts. Those actually came from, let's see here, this is JK Hobby Outlet in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. Again, appreciate those guys giving us some new parts. Once we get the body mounts on, we're going to go ahead and move over to, we got our receiver that's going to have to go back in. We have our Aristocraft ESC that's going to go back in there. Did put a connector, a proper Tamiya connector on that ESC so we can match it up with a modern type battery. We have to install the motor. I went with, this is the Johnson 540. I believe this is original to the truck because that's what was in the box and the case with the rest of the stuff. CRP, adjustable motor mount. I'm going to stick with the stock standard pinion there. Not going to get crazy with all this. Tires and wheels are cleaned up. We should be good with that. There was some information that was passed around about Poor Boy's speed challenge. I think I'm going to opt out of that one for the ORV chassis for this one. So maybe next year I'll be able to jump on board with that. But for this one, we're just going to tear it down. We're just going to rebuild it, get everything back together, get all the bits working. And so we're just going to make this a quick runner. Okay, so step number 1, let's get these body mounts on. And just like that, we got our body mounts on. Pretty simple. These are actually installed with some 440 bolts down here with some, got some nylon lock screws. Got your factory Tamiya stuff sitting right there. And yeah, real easy to bolt up. Nice and sturdy there. It should be pretty good. I think next thing we're going to do is go ahead and get the motor installed. We use the CRP adjustable motor mount there. Fairly easy to install. There's 2 pieces here. There's 2 plates. I don't know if you can see them or not. So this first plate, original one, goes and it attaches with a flathead screw up against that side. That creates the flange right here. And then so this bolt actually attaches to the motor, and this flange plate here actually bolts directly to the motor. Little 3mm grub screw, or 3mm cap screw that secures all that, and we just want to make sure that we get some good mesh in there. So adjust it so it just barely moves there, but yeah, I think we're pretty good to go on that one. That was fairly easy. Next thing I think I want to do is we need to get our ESC installed, so that'll probably go somewhere up top there. So that's the next one. And that really took no time right there. That was fairly easy. Got our steering servo plugged up. let's see here, kind of hard to see. So you have your battery, your 2 and your 1. Yeah, fairly easy to do that. And back this all up so we have a little antenna mount on the back here. Just made with a scrap piece of Lexan. Like I said, cut a couple little tabs in there, wrapped the antenna around, and secured it to the top of the body mount post. That's an old associated antenna mount, and I think that'll be just fine. Moving on, I think we got to get ESC in, and then we can keep moving on. Alrighty, and we have our ESC installed. Got it all wired up to the receiver. Got our motor wires plugged up here. Put our switch over here on this side. Let's flip this around. Switch is kind of hard to see, but yeah, just went ahead and put it over there. Easy to kind of flick your finger in there and turn on, turn off. Spiraled the old power cord there. It makes it all look nice and pretty. Got our old whip antenna on there. Like I said, we should be good to go. Alrighty, what's next? Tires and wheels. Here we come. And tires and wheels are on. Looking okie dokie. Now I think the next thing we need to do is go ahead and we've got the body post holes pre-marked on the body, obviously. I'm going to go ahead and drill those holes and go ahead and start cleaning the body up. Do a little something on the body. Like I said, we're not going to get really crazy with it, but kind of thinking black, orange, yellow, Blackfoot-ish. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. So what's up next? Stick around and see. Alrighty, so we got the body mounted on there. Like I said, won't look too bad. Not too shabby. Go around there. So I think the next thing we need to do, get the body washed up, get some paint mask on it, throw some paint to it. Alright, we got our body all nice and cleaned and washed up. Because this body does not have any window masks, we're going to have to do this old school. Taking a Sharpie, the fine point there, and we're just gonna roughly sketch out where the window openings. I also did the wheel wells just to get an idea for where the design needs to be. Did the back glass there. Not sure what I'm gonna do with the bed yet. Again, I don't want to get super complicated with this paint job, but at the same time I don't want it looking like dookie. So now that we've got our windows marked, next thing to do is mask them. Alright, so here's another little tech tip. If you're painting bodies, I can tell you what not to use. A while back I got some of this Oramask 810S stuff. It's gray. Stuff is horrible. I wanted to try it so I could see my lines on the outside of the body when I'm inside. It just makes it easier to cut. The problem with this stuff is that it does not like to lay flat. See how the ridges come up? So, just a little food for thought. I'm going back to my original window mask. Carry on. So you're asking yourself, what do you use for window mask, Sean? Well, I use Oracal 651. I prefer white. That way you can see through the pin lines and everything. You get everything done. It cuts really clean. It conforms really well. Yeah. There's your tip. All right, so tips aside, finally deciding what I'm going to paint on this body. Decided on the colors. Color's going to be red, yellow, black, and white. Trying to do something a little different. Like I said, I just hate doing single colored bodies. So I have my mask. I'll give you all a little sneak peek of what I'm thinking of here. And that's kind of what we're thinking of. Now again, I'm probably cheating by not doing this stuff by hand, but you know, I have the equipment, I have the ability, so I'm just going to go ahead and rock this out. So have my reverse cut mask all done. Now I just need to weed it and get it applied to the body. Alright, so masking's all done. So primary color is going to be red. Everything blocked off is going to be a combination of black, yellow, and we're going to have some white in there. The bed, really kind of a pain in the butt. This body had the cover mask pulled off. So, what I would prefer to do is leave that mask on there, and I just would have trimmed around there and shot that all black. But, given what we have here, I'm working with what I got. Gonna try to do some headlights, something there. Yeah, that's what we're working with. And now to put some color on it. All right, looking good. We got our first color on there. This is all rattle can here. Tamiya PS2 color. Looks pretty good. It's a little translucent there. A couple bleeds. I'll go ahead and that's what they make toothpicks for. So we can clean all that stuff up. The rest of it actually looks pretty good. So let this dry. Move on to second color, which I do believe is going to be a little bit of white. The backer. Just make sure we don't bleed through. As most know, it should be darker to lighter, to brighter colors. The way that this worked out, I still have, so there's a touch of black here, and then on the bottom down here, this is going to be black. These little bolts here are going to be yellow, and still got to hit the logo and get all that stuff wrapped up. So, moving on. All right, got all the mask off. Next up is black. All right, so we got our black sprayed on there. It's not looking too shabby. Still got a little bit more to do. Moving on to the next color. Next up is a little bit of silver, so we're going to do our grill, and we're going to do that rear bumper in silver. Alrighty guys, I'm going to have to get a little out here, but body is done. And let's go ahead and zoom out here. Far from perfect, not too shabby. Ooh, still wet. Still got let some paint dry here. Get it all cleaned up, again, because I said there's no protective mask on here, but it's not too bad. Not bad for a quickie. Next on, radio. Alrighty guys, back on the workbench. Got my battery holder. I believe that this one is a replacement. Like I said, it's in really good shape. Like I said, the plastic isn't broken, and I believe that this one was stored with the batteries out. So let's go ahead and get some batteries in it. And let's see if we can get the radio to fire back up here. So again, as we talked about before, that little broken tab there could be a problem. I'm just going to go ahead and take off some of the corrosion. Actually, I'm going to pull it apart real quick and see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws on the back. And we can't forget the 2 screws on the front. 3 actually. We got to remove the steering wheel. And so the other way that this comes apart is this little grip part. Got a couple small screws in there. These are easy to remember. I believe these are countersunk. And the whole piece comes off. So steering wheel. Steering wheel should just pull right out. There we go. And of course it's notched there on the back, so it's only going to go back together one way. Oh, here we go. What? Oh, crystal. Should have pulled that out too. Alrighty. So what we're looking at is trying to figure out how to fix that little piece of corrosion right there. I believe we can get new tabs for this. Have to scour the internet, figure out some sizing, and we could probably get it replaced, no problem. Another interesting thing is that this radio actually has provision for a rechargeable battery. So it goes in the factory location. I have no idea what to use on that, but we're just gonna use the AA's for today. So what do we need to get that to work? Well, I have one little piece. I got a little piece of solder there that I balled up, and maybe I can wedge it down in there to see if we can't make this work. Nope, that didn't work. I just want to see if the radio comes on. And it keeps falling right through. Nope. I wired up a little JST plug and see if we can't plug it into this port just to see if we can get power. Before it didn't work, so let's just see what we got here. Try not to pull these wires out, and hopefully this works and I don't fry radio. Oh, we got power. Radio works. Now we just got to figure out how to permanently install this without screwing up that. I just squeezed those wires into the spring, nothing soldered. Got it plugged in to the NiCad port, I do believe, and we should have enough room to slide it in there. I just want to double check that it still works, and it does. I'm going to put it back together, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get some power over to the truck and see if we can get this thing to fire up. All right, so I wanted my hands free for this one just in case. Got our battery in. I did rewire or routed it a different direction than what I was thinking of doing. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and plug it in. Hopefully it doesn't release any magic smoke. Then proceed to turn on the transmitter, then turn on the car, get all the trim set. We'll see if we got some wheel and trigger. Wish us luck. Radio on. No. Oh. Oh. Look at that. Let's see if we got some trigger. Oh, horsepower. Oh my God, we got reverse too. Sweet. All right, so we got to do some servo reversing on this one. No, that's right. We just need to fix some trimming on it here. So what are all these? I have no idea what these buttons are. I have no idea where any of the trims are. Alright, so we need to readjust the steering servo there. That was not anything. Where is the throttle trim? No idea. Pressing this button here on the bottom. No idea, but it makes it go forward. Alright, so throttle, brake, high, reverse. I'm an idiot because I have no idea. Maybe I should set the neutral on the ESC. Oh, it's really hard to see. There we go. I got my forward and my neutral here on the ESC. I'm going to try to adjust that really quick. And that's a bad spot. Alright, let's go ahead and get the servo saver adjusted so we can get the steering to center out, and we'll go from there. Alright, got the servo saver squared away. Alright, so we got the forward force, I think, is the amount of power that it actually applies to the motor. So turning it up, turning it down, seems like this probably will give us the most amount of power. Still not particularly fond of the... We got something going on there, but that's part of it. Fuse is a little warm. Fets are still cool. Amazing. All right, last thing to do. Let's throw a body on it. Let's do a big reveal. Let's go spin this sucker out there in some gravel.
back some memories.
All right there, boys and girls. So there you have it. 40-year-old Tamiya Blackfoot. We tore it down, we cleaned it, we rebuilt it. Period correct except for the battery. Some minor new parts that we had to put on it. But hey, it's a runner. So do me a favor, try this at home. I'm telling you, there's no more rewarding feeling when you can tear these things down, rebuild them, make them come back to life. Yeah, just have fun with it. So yeah, that wraps up this video. Again, appreciate all you watching, appreciate the subscribers. Do me a favor, hit that bell button down there, give this video a like. We got some more builds coming to you, and I guess we'll catch you on the next build.